Welcome to another interview here at Evertiq Expo in Berlin 2025. I'm joined by Dirk Stans from Eurocircuits this time. Thank you for joining us.
Hi Dennis, glad to be here.
You've been quite outspoken and vocal about the challenges that the European industry and electronics industry specifically is facing. What would you say is the most urgent thing that needs to change for the industry?
Dennis, it's a difficult question, and just to pin your finger on it isn't that easy. But if you take a general picture on what we are doing, then it would be not serious to say that we can reclaim everything. That will not be possible. So the first thing we need to do is make choices, and fundamental choices, direction long term. What we are good at, and then focus on those choices, and then put a long-term strategy next to it, so that we can really reclaim what we are good at and do it even better than we did it before. And then we have something to offer to the world. Then we can negotiate again and make deals with people, because then we have something to offer. If you have only questions to ask from the rest of the world, then sooner or later you will be eaten like an old chicken.
Yeah. And policy-wise, what policy action do you think would have the biggest impact to strengthen Europe's electronics industry currently?
Well, in general, what electronics is concerned, we have a bit of a problem. We are invisible to the political level, and as an industry with give or take 160 billion euro a year, we are also relatively small to the European GDP, and it's only 0.7%. So politicians usually are also lawyers and historians, and they don't know anything about electronics. They are not even aware that the power is on, and that on their personal body there is a lot of electronics, like your phone and whatever. If electronics would not be there, then society would stop. So it's first of all, it would be very, very nice that we could bring those two levels together. More the appreciation for the engineering, and politicians need to be leaders. And as a good leader, I mean, I have also people working in my company, and the trick is always to find more clever people than you are yourself to solve a problem and make those people work for you. So I think the politicians need to talk to the industry, to the engineers, and make us work for them, and we are offering that to them in Brussels. And then the next step is, if you're sitting together, then we need to start with easy measures that doesn't cost much and result in a big outcome, and that's what I have tried to do with all the papers that I published. The first one is like European origin first. I think it's an obvious thing. If we spend public money, and we are about to spend a lot, 43 billion in the Chip Act, 800 billion in the Draghi report, let's first make a law. Public spending, European origin first, and that would give our industry also a view into the future and hope for being able to get a piece of that cake. Because if you invest and you bring stuff onto the market, and this is needed, and public money is spent, then you can get at least a big chance of getting a piece of that cake. Yeah. So I think that would be the first step to do. The second thing is we have very nice things in Europe, like the Green Deal. I mean, from a theoretical point of view, it's very nice. It's very hope-giving, and we want to make society better and so on. But the demand that is coming out of it, of information that industry needs to give,
it's labor-intensive.
Yeah, in reporting and so on, it is not well thought through. So we need to digitize. Digitize is one of the first things. And if you then look at electronics, digitization should start at the beginning, namely with a database of raw materials and components. Why doesn't an engineer now have to look for this information in the web and websites of suppliers and so on? Why don't we have a centralized database for whole of Europe where millions of designers in Europe can consult this database, take this specific MPN number out of there with all the relevant information that is necessary, bring it into a SCAD system, and the reporting later on will roll out of it with just a push on the button. So everybody's happy. Instead of teasing millions of engineers, ask a few thousand of manufacturers to put this information in the database. The same we do with nutrition, the same we do with pharmaceutical. Why not for electronics? I think it's a logical step. And there are many other things with small effort, big result. That's what we need to look for.
But the question then is, how do we get the industry and policymakers to actually sit down and talk so that the policymakers also get the information from the industry side on how things needs to be approached?
So that's also a bit of a delicate one, and I think the only way we can solve this if we focus on the level that really matters, and that's the European level. I don't believe in solutions coming from the States. It really needs to happen on European level, because that's the only scale of economy that is relevant in the world. The rest of the world is not bothered by Sweden or Belgium or even Germany, which is the same GDP as California. So we can only matter if we take this perspective from the European level. And then I need to say I'm dealing regularly with this level. These people are quite intelligent. They know what to do, but they are heavily understaffed. We only spend 1% of our budget in Europe, in the States, to our European level, where we are now discussing to go to 5% for military. So Europe is building our society. We should be very conscious about this, and it's there also that you find the clever people to talk to. They are more into science. They're more into engineering, and in those committees you really find high-level people. In politics in general, together, I wished there would be a bit more engineers. I mean, there is a numerous clauses in the world, in Europe, for women and men for specific positions. They should have this in politics for engineers. It would make life a lot easier.
Well, I wish you a successful rest of 2025, and I thank you for the interview.
Thanks a lot, Dennis.